Think Squad is made possible by AT&T investing to bring wired and wireless internet to America's communities, because the future has always been our business. AT&T, your world, delivered. The American Honda Foundation, a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television's Think Squad project and committed since 1984 to improving science and math education for youth across America. To learn more, go to www.foundation.honda.com. And from contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thanks.
People say science can be a real drag. I say that's just because they don't have the right support. I'm Alexis. I'm the leader of the Think Squad. We help kids solve problems, all kinds of problems. I've got a good team. There's Christopher. He's my right-hand man. He doesn't say much, but he misses even less. If there's something worth knowing, it ends up on his clipboard. Then there's Cameron. She's a reporter for the school news. During her interviews, she always finds a way to slip in a few extra questions for me. And when it's time to test that hypothesis, that's where Gary comes in. If he's not building something, he's probably taking it apart. Luckily, Sam's around to make sure he doesn't blow his goggles off. But don't get to thinking we're here to do your homework for you. No way. We provide the method. You provide the conclusions. We'll even fire up the think tank to help you sort everything out. What's the think tank? Don't worry. You'll find out. Just call the Think Squad. There's no problem we can help you solve. You know, your chances of being seen in here would increase significantly if you stopped opening the door.
Look, can we just get this over with?
That depends. What exactly do you think this is?
Well, I've got this problem.
That's good, because problems are our specialty. But the bigger mystery to me is why you're sweating bullets just standing in this room.
Come on, you know.
Not sure that I do.
Number 12.
Comes after 11 and before 13. I love Sesame Street.
No. Look, okay, here we go. What's you want?
Your autograph, I think. So, since when does the captain of the football team need the Think Squad?
Hey, look, see, that's just the thing. I can't let anybody know I'm here. You see, this Think Squad stuff, well, it's for,
Yeah?
nerds.
Nerds. Nice. But then again, how many of your teammates know that you're walking around with the star map?
Yo, look, it's not like that, okay? It's my mom. She bought me a star.
Bought you a star?
Yeah. I mean, she's real proud of me. You already got a scholarship and everything.
I see. A star for her star.
Yeah, too bad the whole thing's a joke.
I'm sorry. How so?
See, that's my problem. That star, my star, is not there.
Are you sure? Most stars just don't disappear.
Trust me, I've looked. It's nowhere. So are you gonna help me or not?
You come to the right place. The Think Squad will definitely take your case.
Which one is it?
Our new client says it's this little dot right here.
You can't really own a star, you know.
Tell it to the mom who paid $50 for it.
I'm just saying, how can you own something that's 1,000 light years away?
I really think it's the thought that's supposed to count. She's just showing him she believes in him.
If she really believed in him, she should encourage him to go to school and invent something that could take him to his star, rather than just throwing around a ball.
You don't get out enough. So what's the mystery?
The star. He can't find it.
Oh, it's hard to get the telescope through the face mask. I mean, that's why I quit football.
Okay, remember guys, we're here to help anyone who has a problem, and that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, don't sell him short. Football's a pretty complicated sport.
I'll remember that the next time they give a Nobel Prize to the guy who invented the forward pass.
Come on, you both know that things aren't always as they seem. There's something else going on here, and we're gonna figure it out. You know the drill. Simple scientific method. We establish the problem.
Then we observe the data in the field.
We formulate a hypothesis based on what we find out.
And we test it. Can't wait to get Captain Touchdown in the think tank.
Looks like Y News has another lead story.
All the way from the final frontier, outer space is our lead story today. Hello everyone, I'm Marjani.
And I'm Roland, and thanks for tuning in. Your Y News update starts right now.
A map of the night sky is called a star chart. But what's the point of having a map of some place you're never even going to visit?
Well, most stars are light years away, and to actually visit one is still virtually impossible. But knowing where each star is in the sky and what it's doing there can be very useful. In fact, stars have stayed consistent for all of human history, which means they've been using them to get around the Earth for quite some time.
So, what's the star map exactly? Well, technically speaking, it's a perfect picture of the entire night sky. If you've ever seen one, you probably noticed that there are a lot more stars on the star chart than we can sometimes see in the sky.
So how can we trust what we're seeing on a star map? And can we use them today to help us get around? We sent our Y News reporter Cameron into the field to get some answers.
Thanks, guys. When we look at the stars, how do we know what it really is we're looking at? And how can we know that a star map can be trusted to tell us where each and every star in the sky is? I'm at the Scherzer Observatory in Ypsilanti to meet with someone whose job it is to map the stars. Hello. Norbert Vance is the observatory director at Scherzer Observatory on Eastern Michigan University's campus. After growing up in Allen Park, he went to Eastern Michigan University to learn all about stars.
I just happened to have some charts I was setting up for a class, so I thought maybe you might want to check some of these out since we're talking about them. Here, for example, I have a book that has page after page of nothing but stars plotted out very precisely with a large number of them. So
There's that many stars.
Oh yes, this catalog contains thousands and thousands of stars. There's a large atlas that we use here, and if we were outside in the dark night sky, and students might even have access to, for example, this celestial globe, which allows us to show them an imagined view of the sky as it surrounds the Earth. And this is what the ancients thought of as the sky being a big sphere that surrounds the Earth filled with stars. I also happen to have a photometer sitting out here. I was going to show them a device that allows us to make very, very careful, precise measurements of the stars at the back end of a telescope. And that's where this will fit, and it connects to a computer to take very, very precise measurements of starlight. I even happen to have some pretty old star charts here. These date back to the late 1800s, and it's pretty amazing what they knew even back then. But we certainly know much, much more today, obviously. But that's the way they did things hundreds of years ago or so. Today, we use computers to do much of our work, and I have an example of some computer programs here that we can use to find stars very quickly and easily and identify every single one just by the click of a mouse. So it's a pretty neat piece of equipment.
That's really neat.
And if you want to see what it looks like on a real sky, turn around and you'll find yourself underneath a planetarium dome. This is a classroom planetarium. This projects the patterns of the stars on this dome that you see over your head. So there are any number of ways that we can use to project the stars either on charts or on this dome. But the best way to really see stars is to see them in person through the telescope upstairs. I bet you want to go up there, don't you?
I do.
Let's go on.
All righty.
Okay.
After he showed me around the observatory, I had a few stellar questions for him. So what exactly is it that you do here?
Well, I teach introductory and observational astronomy classes here at the university, but I really like hanging out up here at the observatory where we see the stars in person, and it's a very enjoyable thing to do. I've been doing it for a long, long time, since I was just a little kid. So it's something that's natural to me, and we enjoy showing folks the stars. Think of me as a tour guide to the stars.
And what does that have to do with the stars specifically? How much do we know about the stars?
Well, we understand a great deal about stars. Even though they're very, very far away, we understand the light coming from them that tells us a great deal of information. For example, the color tells us the temperature, the age of the star, the chemistry of the star, even the motion of a star, where they're moving in the sky.
So it sounds like the stars are pretty hard to pin down. I mean, how can we map something so far away that's constantly moving?
Well, they're just so far away that their motion is almost imperceptible. In fact, the ancients thought of them as the fixed stars, but we know today for a fact they're moving at incredible speeds. It just takes a long time for them to move. And we map their positions very precisely using their coordinates, things called right ascension and declination. So we know their positions to a great deal of precision.
Then when we look at the sky, we're pretty sure we can tell which stars are which by where they are at a given time?
Oh, absolutely. The star charts that we have today are very, very precise. And that's been that way for quite a while. Even a gentleman named Tycho Brahe 500 years ago had instruments to measure the positions of the stars fairly precisely. And one of his workers, Johannes Kepler, came along and used those measurements to study the motions of the planets and made some pretty important discoveries in astronomy. And with star charts have been getting more and more precise ever since. In fact, I can show you just how precise our star charts can get by using technology today, using our telescope in the observatory. Let's go check it out. Okay, and here we have our large 10-inch refractor telescope at the university. And with this, we can see all kinds of neat things, Jupiter, moons, stars, planets, good stuff.
So if a star map tells us there should be something there when there isn't, is this the kind of telescope we'd use to help us find it?
Oh, absolutely. It has enough image power to be able to pick up stars that are quite faint. The only drawback might be light pollution, the lights from the city blocking our view of the stars, muting their light. And that tends to be a problem.
So it is possible for a star on a map to not appear in the sky?
That's a pretty rare situation. Maybe during the time the star map's being made, an asteroid flew through the field. But that's how we find asteroids. We check them against the motion of background stars and discover them in that fashion. There is also the possibility the star could change in brightness or some other strange event. But most likely, it's probably light pollution that's most problematical. If we can't see a star, it's probably because the city lights have washed out the light from the star to the point where we can't see it anymore.
So does that mean that there is a possibility that a star map could be wrong?
Well, there is that outside chance, but that's the beauty of science, that you never know what kind of surprises you're going to get, and that's what makes it exciting and want to study it more.
Well, you heard it here on Y News. Even today, star charts are still a pretty cool tool if you want to get to know the night sky a little bit better. And if you'd like to get a closer look at the sky, you could become an astronomer and get to map the stars yourself every day. For Y News, this is Cameron.
Have you ever been wrongly accused? Do you have a hard time convincing people you're telling the truth?
But I wasn't cheating.
Do you need someone to prove your case?
You better think squad.
When you say that you saw a UFO, people look at you pretty funny. But not the Think Squad. They believed me, and they taught me all about the Northern Lights. Northern Lights are also confused with UFOs because they are large and hover around at night.
There's no problem we can't solve. Contact us with the Think Squad.
Not exactly what I would call reliable research.
Yo, be careful. Somebody could see you. Look, I appreciate the help, but I can't let everybody think I care about some stupid star that's in the sky.
I've got some news for you. You may have found out why you can't see your star.
Really?
Maybe. And based on our findings, I think it's time for you to develop your hypothesis.
Hippopotamus?
Hypothesis about your star? Is it there or isn't it?
Look, enough with the Jimmy Neutron nerd speak, okay? What do you want to do?
What do you want to do now? I think it's time that you met the think tank.
Really? Janitor's closet? Wow. Whoa. Okay. All right, I get it. The whole deck on the Starship Enterprise.
Welcome to the think tank. You think you've got a missing star? This is where you get the information to create a hypothesis about where your star might be or if it's even out there at all.
I mean, this is unreal.
Load star map report.
Star maps are charts that divide the night sky into grids according to a given location so that astronomers and other scientists can track and study stars and other celestial bodies.
I might be a jock, but I do know what a star map is.
I'm sure. Continue report.
They can be as simple as a printed sheet of paper and as complicated as a complex computer program. Even throughout ancient history, stars have been one of the most reliable forms of navigation.
Pause report. So, you think you can trust that piece of paper?
Well, my mom, she paid a lot of money to name the star after me. It's not like it just wouldn't be there.
Continue report.
One of the most common is a planisphere, made up of a circular chart of the night sky attached to an overlay with a window allowing only a portion of the sky to be visible. The user can adjust the chart and overlay so that the local time of day on the overlay matches the time of year on the star chart. The portion of the sky visible in the window then shows the correct alignment of stars visible at the planisphere's designated location.
So all I need is a planning thing?
Pause report. I don't know. Do you?
Look, astronomy's great and all, but I've got a game on Friday. And if I can't find my star, then I'm not going to be able to concentrate. And if I can't concentrate, then I'm not going to be able to play well. And if I'm not able to play well, then there's no point in me having a stupid star anyway. Think tank, why can't I see my star? Great, I broke it.
Ask a more specific question.
Think tank, why can't I see a star?
One of the most common culprits for hidden stars is light pollution. Just like other forms of pollution, this adverse effect of artificial light is a byproduct of over-industrialized areas, where the abundant glow of nighttime illumination ultimately ends up obscuring otherwise visible stars in the sky.
Hold on, wait.
Pause report. So?
Well, I do live in the city, so maybe I can't see the star because of all the lights. But even if I couldn't see it, I still like to know what's out there, you know? Think tank. If I can't see a star in the city, then how else can I know what's out there?
If light pollution or other factors like variable star brightness impedes attempts to locate and identify a particular star, consulting either a large observatory telescope in a desolate location or a giant star map produced by satellite should be considered.
Pause report.
So it has to be there, right? I mean, if it's not...
What?
I mean, think about my mom. How disappointed she'd be. I mean, she really wants this for me. That light pollution stuff, it makes a lot of sense, but it seems like you need a telescope in the middle of nowhere or a gigantic star map just to be sure. Do you know anyone who has one?
I just might.
Now we're talking. So come on, let's fire up the giant telescope and find the precious star so that we can go tell Kid Cannon how much he's been wasting our time.
You know, it's possible that this is about more than just a missing star. And no, I don't have a giant telescope.
What do you mean?
Well, if your family felt that their success depended on how well you threw a ball, wouldn't you want to know that the symbol of that expectation actually existed?
Thanks for the after-school special.
No problem.
So how do we test the hypothesis?
Well, the two things we need to find this star are the right ascension and declination. Once we type those into the larger planetarium star map, we should be able to find your star, no problem.
Well, it's not my star, it's the star's star. Okay. See, it's right here over by NGC 7331.
Right ascension, 22 hours, 43 minutes. Declination, 35 degrees. Here's Pegasus, so you must be pretty close to your star.
Who doesn't love a winged horse?
Here's our big planetarium grid. It gives us the right ascension and declination. It's pretty much like the longitude and latitude on the map of the Earth.
Oh, so I get it. It's a star map.
All right. Well, let's zoom in and find your star.
Let's find this thing.
There's no star.
What do you mean, no star?
I mean, no star. I mean, we've calculated everything. We've got the right coordinates, but there's nothing there.
So you're trying to tell me that we have an honest-to-goodness missing star?
I just don't get it. Somebody wants you to have a star because it means something, because it's important. And it turns out that it's not even there.
Well, the field tests proved it. It's not light pollution. There's just no star at those coordinates.
Well, then maybe that means that there's no star.
Hey, since when do you care about a ball of gas 1,000 light years away? Ascension and azimuths? It's just nerd speak, right?
Hey, if that star isn't there today, and it wasn't there yesterday, probably means it wasn't there a year ago either, right?
Yeah, I remember doing quite a few stories on the football team last year. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere without their star quarterback.
And if you didn't need a star then,
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I call that a pretty solid conclusion. Congratulations.
For what?
Now you're a member of the Think Squad. Don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
okay, now magnify. Oh, you're just in time.
Something still bothering you?
Yeah. Okay, think tank, zoom in a little bit more. Can you go closer? Good, good, stop. Looks like this whole time we needed a microscope rather than a telescope. The edges you get with the computer are a whole lot different than the edges you get with a pen.
Wait, so you're saying that...
Somebody ran out of stars to sell.
And once again, there's no problem we can't solve.
Think tank end.
So, if it wasn't here today, it wasn't here a year ago, huh? I gotta admit, until I heard you say that, I never took you for a football fan.
Well, looks can be deceiving. Think Squad is made possible by AT&T, investing to bring wired and wireless internet to America's communities, because the future has always been our business. AT&T, your world, delivered. The American Honda Foundation, a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television's Think Squad project and committed since 1984 to improving science and math education for youth across America. To learn more, go to www.foundation.honda.com. And from contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thanks.